Okay, greetings. Hotep Akwaba, bless up. Welcome back to the Recovery Room of Racism Not Anonymous with me, Sis Abana, the recovering African who is enslaved in America, Kaka, and who is a representative from the Voices in the Margins, and who is a traumatized traumatologist and communications coach, true to the cause of African liberation via unification and utilizing the tool of healthy and effective communication. Today is May 17th, 2011, and I just looked at an email from yesterday that advertised the showing of the film The Freedom Riders, as this month marks the 50-year anniversary of the inception of freedom riding, and that happened in 1961. Now, as I sat here and looked at this, I noticed yesterday many images and stories going around on Facebook regarding the Freedom Riders. However, my energy was tied up in some other things. So I didn't really focus on it or think about it much until I opened the email. And instantly, kind of hit me again. It's like, wow, this is all in my lifetime. I was born in 1960, so I was a year old when this freedom riding began. And I have always talked about and acknowledged my experience with being born in this particular era during the civil rights era, the inception of it, which included the freedom riders, the freedom riding. It included, the civil rights sit-ins, marches, and those were the images and messages that I received in my very early formative years. Was recognizing racial differences, abuse against people of African descent. I witnessed and watched on television when the church bombed at the age of 4. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X murdered when I was 4 years old. Dr. King, I was 8. I remember I have vague images and memories of that day and listening to and seeing the adults cry, the outrage, the conversations that happened around the kitchen table during that time period. As a result of the things that took place during my formative years, subsequently in my adolescence, during the 70s and coming of age in the late 70s, by that time, as a result of the events that took place in the 60s, I was able to and encouraged to go to school, get an education. We had the rights for these things. Women had the right to vote. Women were, quote unquote, liberated. They were also during the 70s, I had COINTELPRO activity in my neighborhood because I'm from the hood. And, I lived through all of these events, grew and came of age through these events. During the 70s with the opportunity for education, with student loans and grants and so forth, I did work to capitalize off of that. And I was the first child in my immediate family to go to college. And so that was in the late 70s. When I did the Pandora's Box is Open yesterday on Blog Talk Radio. Actually, I scheduled the Blog Talk Radio, and it was called Piss the Flip Off, because what was the final thing that opened up, quote unquote, my Pandora's box and gave cause for me to vent some feelings of anger based on the levels of injustice that happened and continues to happen in not just my life, but the lives of African descendants, was the video that someone did, a documentary regarding college and education and the scamming that is inherent in that educational system. How we are taught, programmed, and socialized from childhood to believe that getting a college education and a degree would position you in later life as an adult towards economic security, professional growth, and freedom of freedom from poverty, economic poverty, right? And the big scam that was. Now, I became aware of the fact that that was a big, big lie, and that, I had sort of lived based on this lie, believing it. And I came to that realization, some 15, 20 years ago or so. And many, many dynamics that have taken place since that, my awareness, and as the world has progressed or regressed into the degenerative state of animalistic behaviors that we currently see, it just has gotten worse. So much so that when I saw that video yesterday, it offered certainly validation for what I have always come to know. And because of the state of degeneracy, the level of injustice and hypocrisy that I have experienced as a result of living that lie in terms of educational attainment and what it was set to do and bring, paying the college tuition, taking out the loans, being now indebted, unable to work, and the reasons that I'm not currently working, and the level of disrespect that I experience from other people of African descent, namely my family and community members. Disregard, disrespect for the knowledge that I acquired going to school, for me was just like, it overflowed. And that's what happened. That's what triggered, a lot of it. And so probably the connection that triggered memories of being at Dayz.com had everything to do with the level of disrespect and disregard I experienced from many of the members there, because I have a college education, because I am very intellectually oriented, and it is because of that people then sort of hate on you, reject you, reject the knowledge and so forth. And I recognize the lie that was told, that if in fact you got this education, then this is what it meant. It meant that you would be held in some sort of high regard, or some sort of high regard and esteem by your community members and family members, and that's not been the case, and that's not been true. And just kind of coming to that realization, it hurts. So I'm gonna stop. That's what looking at this email and remembering that period, my formative years, and what I lived through and grew through, that I wanted to just touch on real quick in this video. And this video, Mentaria, and this another episode in Abana's World. So thanks for listening to me share, y'all. Peace.